Today, we're talking about puzzles. All right? Puzzles are huge. I think puzzles are one of the best parts of D&D if done correctly, but I don't think they're commonly done correctly. I think they're done usually terribly. How many of you guys use puzzles in your game, or like to use puzzles in your game, or do you hate it? Like, what are your guys' opinion on puzzles? I guess that's what we're looking for. Okay. How do you guys feel about puzzles? Right? Because I did a poll. Let's see. I did a poll here. See if we got any last minute votes coming in. I have used them, and that is good. George, you love them. That's great to hear. Small sample size, but I thought the general consensus was that people hated puzzles. Like, it's like, just don't use them. They're always bad, right? But when I did my poll, I actually found out that it's like majority of people are like fine with them at least. So, 22% yes, puzzles are the best. That's where I fall. I think puzzles are amazing. Sure, every once in a while. 69%, which also nice. But I mean, I didn't expect that. I figured it was going to be a lot more on they're fine, but I'd rather not. 7% and 2% ooh, gross. Very small sample size, but not what I expected. I think it's done well. They can be fun. I think that's exactly right, Colette. And then still new to D&D. This game I'm running is my first ever. I want to use puzzles. Okay, perfect. This hopefully will be a little insightful and helpful for you. Okay, so I think I wrote this within the context of like people hate puzzles. Chess Noob, what's up, man? Any tips for new DMs? Oh yeah. We're actually going to do a stream on that coming up, but today we're going to focus on puzzles, and we can do some tips for you. If you have specific questions, throw them in. I can talk about them, but this, hopefully, for puzzles will give you some insight on what you should be doing and what you should try to avoid when you're doing puzzles, because I think a lot of people fall into traps with this one. Okay, so for puzzles, I wrote this with the idea that most people don't like puzzles, but I think I've been seeing a lot of puzzles that are like terribly done. They're just not implemented correctly, and it's usually like the horror stories of bad DMs. Now, I don't think a lot of people are doing this, but I do think it's enough, right? I think players who like to RP like puzzles. Players who are more combat are less inclined to do puzzles. I think that's completely accurate, but I think there's ways to do combat and puzzles together, and we'll talk. I guess we can talk about that at the end. But I want to know what you guys think makes a bad puzzle. Okay, I have 3 points that I think are pretty common that like are the classic. This puzzle is terrible, and I think they can really like ruin a session. They can really bring things to a halt. Of course, like it's always going to be fun hanging out with your friends and doing stuff, but I think there's a lot of things that make a bad puzzle. So what do we got? Any ideas of what makes a bad puzzle? Before I just reveal my three takes. I mean, it looks like not everybody has done as many puzzles. So I mean, Chess Noob, I hope this gives you some help. And then, what about puzzles? One of us lies and one of us tells the truth. Too hard is very good. One of us lies, one of us tells the truth. Too easy, too hard, very true. One of us lies, one of us tells the truth is like the classic. Everybody's done this, so why are we? I mean, I feel like you know that answer if you've seen a movie or seen it in pop culture. Puzzle that is way too hard. Puzzles that may have been overdone in media. All right, perfect. Both of those are great. Like you shouldn't get into this and because you haven't seen Monty Python or you haven't seen, a random like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. You shouldn't make that your like main puzzle. They should be unique to your story. From stories I've heard, a puzzle could be bad if the answer is too specific. Got to give the players room to mess around and make their own solutions. Perfect. Yes. All right. I think you guys have hit basically most of the gist that I hit. The first is single solution puzzles, which we kind of talked about. Or what artist you just brought up, artist GJ. They come up with an idea. They have one idea how this solution can be solved, or this puzzle can be solved. There's a single solution, and they don't give any room for any autonomy or like creativity. And they make sure it gets railroaded into like, if you don't solve this, there's nothing that's going to get you past this. Okay? Terrible. It's no fun to play because then I'm no longer fighting with like reality. I'm fighting with this person's perception, and that's not fun. Okay, nobody has fun. It's my way or the highway, and you know it or you don't. Because if you don't know it, guess what? There's not really a way to figure it out. There's just one solution, that's it. And if you can't think of it, sorry, bub. The other one is dead ends, right? And I mean this in the sense of like gameplay wise, right? If you have a single solution puzzle and you go to move further into this dungeon, which is what we're doing, okay? We're gonna get into this dead end, or the only way forward is you have to figure out this puzzle to go to the next room. Again, if you can't figure out the puzzle, then you're just stuck and you just have to wait and you have to kill time, and like people are just sitting there like twiddling their thumbs because like they can't figure it out. The game comes to a complete stop. Also, if it's overly time consuming, like it's way too tedious for a puzzle that is supposed to be like a little bit more balanced, and like it's a one shot, you're going through a dungeon. If you have one that takes up so much time, especially for the combat people, they're gonna hate it. It's not gonna be for them. Okay, and then the last problem is it's just not fun. Okay, there's a lot of things that are really clever but are not like enjoyable to do. Like there's so many things that it's like, yes, this would be the solution, but it doesn't mean it was a good experience for the players, right? And then overly complicated. Like if your players like overly complicated, then yeah, you can get away with doing it. But most of the time people hate it, and if they have to like stack too many things on top of each other to figure out the puzzle, it's going to be time consuming. It's going to slow down the pace. And again, the goal here for a puzzle is to give the players that aha moment and that good feeling of like, we figured it out and it's meant to be fun, right? Okay, so now what do we think makes a good puzzle? Obviously we have the examples of some bad ones. I mean, what are the things that you guys like in puzzles? What are the things that when you play, you're like, this is why we do this. This is why we puzzle. What do we got? By the way, we're going to be getting into some examples here later, so and we're going to try and make one together. Having to look around the room for a clue makes for a good puzzle. Okay, yeah, it's clues. Okay, that's good. Clues are important. Clues are very important. I like that call. Any other thoughts before we move on? All right. And going once, going twice, going gone. All right. We need, a lot of these are the inverse of the bad ones. Mini solutions, okay? You need freedom of choice. Oh, here we go. Having certain context for puzzles, huge. Context for puzzles is big. Callbacks or lore is good too. Yeah, absolutely. I think making sure your players know about like a collective lore, especially if you're playing like a big long campaign, is perfect. Because it gives you something that you guys should all know about and that you can call back. I think there's some pitfalls with that one, but I think that's really good. And then yeah, context is important. So the first thing that makes a good puzzle to me is mini solutions, right? The thing that makes D&D so much better than video games is freedom of choice, right? Like, unlike video games, there is one way that it has been programmed to work. There's parameters to the game. There's things that are too difficult for you to actually like implement. Like even in a game like Baldur's Gate, where they give you a lot of ability to solve things uniquely, you're still constrained by so much, right? Like the programmers didn't think of this, so there's no way for them to like really implement this into the game. Right? So the best part about D&D is we get that freedom of choice. There is nothing limiting us. So if you're going to have a puzzle, make it so the players can have complete freedom and creativity so they can think outside of the box and implement those mini choices. Effective pacing, okay? You don't want the puzzle to stop everything. You don't want it to be the thing that makes it so we went from this high arc, we just did a big long battle, it was fun, we're doing some RP, and now all of a sudden we're just stuck while maybe one or two people are like actively trying to work on the puzzle and everybody else is just hanging out waiting. Like that's not fun. No one has a good time. So you also don't want it to take up so much of the time, because it's good to have those feelings of like trying to think things through, but you can't make that the whole thing for everybody, because you know what, there's always going to be maybe one or two players in your group who just doesn't care about, like they just will not care about the puzzle. no matter how cool it is or what, it's just not their thing, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like, we all like our different things about D&D. So you just can't make it something that is just so long and taxing. And another thing that I think is helpful for puzzles is puzzles that might not fall into like these dead ends that can be done at any time, right? So like you can do this thing where it's something that doesn't have a time constraint that they can think about while they're still playing the game, and then be like, wait, I have a second, I want to try this on this puzzle box that I have and see if it works. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, I'm just going to put that to the side and let my mind kind of like ruminate on that. I was going to say multiple solutions, such as the answer or the options, like a barbarian that rolls well, says no, and decides to barrel through a wall in a maze. Yeah, that's perfect, right? Like, that is something that you most likely wouldn't be able to code into a video game, but it fits your character, it makes sense, and it's fun. And then stakes. Right? I think having stakes on a puzzle help quite a bit, right? A ticking time bomb, like something that they have to do before something ends is always good to add those stakes. It gets you excited. And then, or great rewards. Like what's going to be on the other side is something the players really, 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 really want. Okay? So here's some things, a sacrifice. Yeah. I mean, sure. Right. Exactly. Ticking time bomb definitely leads into that. Okay, so here's some small little tips I do to try and keep in mind when I'm thinking of or making puzzles. Okay? You have to help your players when they're stuck. Okay? You can't just expect them, like you can't just sit there with your hands crossed like a villain staring at them. If they're stuck, you can kind of push them in the right direction. Now, I'm not saying give them the answers, but subtle hints, subtle clues, subtle pushes in the right direction. So like offer up intelligence rolls or perception rolls for clues, right? We talked about clues a little bit earlier. Offer that up so that someone can literally go like, do I think this is helpful? Should I go this direction? It's like, well, give me perception. You know what? You notice this thing that you didn't notice before. And it seems to have a certain significance. It seems to have a certain energy to it. Johnny, what's up, man? Like you can start pushing their framing and their context in a different direction. And then hints when needed. Like, have you guys ever done escape rooms? Because first of all, escape rooms are awesome. If you've never done them in real life, they're like a lot of fun. But what they do, at least the one I went to, when you're stuck for a long enough time, they're just like, they give you a little extra hint. They reframe things, or they're like, hey, maybe notice your attention over here. Yeah, escape rooms are so good. And because their goal is not for you to fail the escape room, their goal is for you to have fun so that you come back and do another escape room. So they're going to give you hints when you're really stuck, because the feeling that we want is I solved it without being told how to solve it, right? So make sure you're involved with what's happening and not just sitting there, just like laughing as they can't figure it out, Yes, and, okay? This is, I think, a good rule for everything. In Dungeon World, if you guys have ever done this, or ever played Dungeon World, it's like a Powered by the Apocalypse Dungeons and Dragons style game. But Dungeon World, its main tenet is that the DM is supposed to be a lazy DM and not prep in advance. The DM is supposed to take what the players say and then implement that into the story. Now, I think that's a little too excessive to take away all of that like prep for the D&D, or for the DM. But what the goal is to trying to do is, if the players say something that is cool that you didn't think of, you should take that and just say yes. I mean, like the simple example of this is, right, like someone's like, we're searching for clues, and then they go, well, do I find a letter? And you didn't put a letter there. You didn't have an idea to put the letter there. So you say, yes, you did find a letter. And then you describe, you take what they're saying, what is a good idea, and then you add it to the game, and then you're like, now we're both agreeing that there's a letter there, and we're creating the scenario. So I think yes-anding for puzzles is doing that, right? Someone has an out-of-the-box idea, thought, that lets you reinterpret the puzzle in a different way, right? And then if someone has something that is like a really good joke that is making a lot of people laugh, lean into the fun, right? Lean into that part. You should engage with the fact that, like, if the barbarian is breaking through the maze, right, and just destroying it, and your players find it funny, then make that part of the puzzle, and then figure out how you can use that and like have other conflicts come up, right? Like some of the walls are actually way thicker than others. So they thought they could just break through all of them. No, now they have to figure out which is the right one. So now the different puzzle is figuring out which ones they can get around and which ones they can't. Glad to see the love for escape rooms. Always wanted to do an escape room, but have been afraid I'd be the only one in my friend group who'd have fun. Yeah, that is hard. You definitely have to go with the right people. I was in the same situation, but I just asked, and a few friends actually wanted to go. Oh, great. Yeah, I mean, most of your friends will just show up because they want to. I think people give them a chance, you know? And then the last thing to remember is have an out, okay? You can't really play test these puzzles unless you've done it over and over again, but a lot of times you have an idea, you think it's pretty simple. Oh boy. Number of times that I thought a puzzle has just been the easiest thing ever to figure out, and it has been just miles beyond anything the players are thinking about. Like, that's going to happen, right? So you have to have an out, right? You have to have a way to reframe the situation so it's good for everybody, right? And here's an example, right? Like, just throw a curveball in a scenario of they're stuck trying to figure out this puzzle, you know, and they're not seeing that you gave them other solutions to go around here. You're not like, this is not a dead end puzzle. You could go through this door, but there's 3 other paths you haven't explored yet, and you haven't tried this thing or that thing, right? Like, you can do that. So then, you know, maybe you throw in the walls start closing in. You do something that forces the players to move on in a different direction. Monsters show up, so on and so forth, which, you know, having out is different path forwards. You know, like, don't make it so, again, like we talked about, this is a single dead end. D&D players are not always as smart as children. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But here's the thing. I'm one of those people, so I'm like, this should be easy. This is exactly what I would expect would be easy. And no, it's not. One thing I try to keep in mind as a DM is always account for failure. That's perfect. I mean, yeah, this is like my trouble with searching for clues and mysteries, right? A little bit of a side tangent, but like the idea of searching for a clue and mystery is like, let's say their perception check just isn't high enough and then they don't find this crucial clue. What do you do? So it's like, yeah, you got to kind of account for the failure, but then like maybe set up a scenario where it's not just a perception check and they either get to move forward in the story or not. But that's a side thing. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple of my examples. Some of them are good and some of them are fine. Like, I would say they're not great, you know? But they're things that I've used at some points and I've learned along the way. And we're just going to go through a couple of them. And then afterwards, I think we're going to try and make some puzzles because I need a puzzle for my game right now and I need some help. Okay, so this is the secret entrance, right? I use this in a one-shot, and it was meant to be like these like sea monsters had taken over this like base, this like island, and they needed to get into the base to be able to capture like the magic item, yada, yada, yada. One of those one-shot, very like simplistic, straightforward things, right? And I wanted to give them multiple options to get into the base. And one of them was the secret entrance. It wasn't exactly secret. It was just like a path that was locked by a puzzle. Okay. And to give the context, these sea creatures weren't very intelligent. They're very rudimentary, like low intelligence. And I left clues around if the players wanted to look around or if they got stuck and they didn't decide to go down one of those other paths, right? Because this wasn't the only way in. There was one way where they could have gone underneath the water and snuck in. There was a whole other path that had just more monsters that they could go that way. Or this was the most efficient way and would be the least guarded because it had the special holding, okay? And I used to have a picture for this, but I couldn't find it, so I just made one real quick. And all it was a door with a one of those circular handles with these letters posted on the top of it, okay? And what do you guys think? This is something that I would say is one of my lower puzzles. But again, I think it was fine because it wasn't the only way forward, okay? And they saw this, and it said these words. And what do you guys think immediately when you see this? Like, what's your strategy of getting in? This stream came to a good time for me. I have a dungeon plan coming up and need puzzles. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Happy we can help. So yeah, like I would love to hear what you guys think are solutions for this. And honestly, this one, again, I would say is on the lower side because it's not. It's a little bit dead-endy as a way. yeah. Papyrus is a bold choice as a font. My first reactions are the words backwards. Lup, ton. Yeah, Papyrus is, to be fair, I can't remember the font I used. It's meant to be like engraved in the rock, okay? Like very like scribbled and scratched. So then, here's the thing. I think the first thing that most people fall into is think, not pool. Okay? Like this is the thing that I figured and what happened in our game. Think, not pool. So they went up to the door, right? I'm on what looks like it needs zoomed out. Oh, you can see this on mobile? Hell yeah. I wonder if I could shrink this down. Here, we're going to do this. Okay. Is that better? My bad. Hopefully this helps. Okay, better. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. I'm on mobile. Is it okay? It looks like you need zoomed out. All right. I'm on your computer. Some of the words cut off. I mean, I definitely bought something. Okay, this makes way more sense. Okay, good. Okay, so first thing people thought was think, not pool, right? And so they went up to the door, and they put their head against the door and said, okay, I'm going to think. And I said, okay, very good. And that was that. And this was kind of a gotcha. And I think this is why this puzzle's not very good. And so they thought. And so they thought about it, and they thought of all the different ways to say, think, not pool, think, not pool. And so then they started to go like, all right, let me look around and get some clues. So they did a perception check. They checked out the door. They felt it for magic, and they found that it did have a magic seal on it. They found out that the handle, this like round circular handle, okay, push, think, not pool. Push, also a very good option. And this is why I don't think this puzzle is good, because push would make sense as well. And I set up one solution here. This is one of my very first puzzles I did. It's a push door. Right, yeah. Push would make sense. Think, not pull. And so, again, this is why I want to show you guys this example. I think there's a lot of mistakes with this one. But so I went forward and said, there's a circular handle. You notice a lot of like gouge marks of like a knife cutting it. You notice a bunch of strands of rope on the ground, right? And then you notice a small twine of, or small rope and large rope all across the beach, because this was on a beach and they were trying to get in. And so what I ended up doing was trying to recontextualize think, not pool to thin, not pool, which is dumb, okay? But it's what I did. And with the clues, I was able to give them the thin, not pool, right? And so they went and got some of the thin thing, put it on the door handle, and was able to pull it off. Now, that's a bad puzzle, right? Because, again, it's too specific. And the reason I justified why I was okay, and this was early on, is because I gave them a bunch of other paths to go. And if they could figure out the little, simple of like your first thought is think, not pool, and if you can get past it's actually thin, not pool, then you're good. Still, I think it's not ideal. Okay, so here, let's go to the next one. Okay, and this one I feel good about, because I think this is a really good way to implement puzzles that is not a dead end, but is more of a ticking time bomb. Okay, so this is a sewer hideout. And the players were in a rush. They knew they had to get to the sewer hideout quickly. They had a limited amount of time, okay? And they were following someone who they had gotten into a fight with. So they were dripping blood and leaving tracks. And they had entered the sewer. So they found out they had entered the sewer. They went down to the sewer, and they were trying to follow this person to get to the hideout so that they could save the person in time, right? So the real thing here, the ticking time bomb, is how quickly they can get there is going to change the outcome of this, okay? So what I did is I put the players down into the sewer, right? And I drew on our map a 4 corridor. They're down in the sewer. They have a north. I told them this way's north, this way's east, this way's south, and this way is west. Okay? Nader Talk, good to see you, man. Yeah, happy to be back. I'm hoping to stream more. We're talking about puzzles, brother. Okay, so what I had them do is they went into the sewer and they saw this symbol right here in the center up on the ceiling, painted. You know, the symbol of the gang they were following. Okay? And they knew I definitely messed this up a little bit. Yeah, because I made this right beforehand, but we're going to be fine. Okay, so they knew. No, I'm good. Okay, so they saw this, and then they knew that the first track, they saw the blood going down south. Okay? So they saw blood trickling down this way. And so they saw the sign, knew that they should probably follow the way because that guy was going to the hideout. Okay, so the players headed south, which means they popped up back here on the north side. And then they saw this at another intersection, and they kind of lost the trail. Okay, the trail was no longer clear for them to see. Okay? And then they looked at this, and they were given an option. Which way do you guys want to go? North, east, south, or west? So which way would you guys go? If you had to pick, would you go north, east, south, or west? And just to show you the first one, here was the first one. Here was the second one. Okay? Now, if you don't know some of the other things, if you don't know which way to go, some of the other things is, I said, what you guys can do is do a survival tracking check, right? And it's just going to happen. To do that survival check, if you go down a path while you're doing your survival check, depending on how good your survival check is, means how quickly you discover whether this is the right path or not. If you do this and find, and you went the wrong direction, find out you went the wrong direction, what you do is you just lost time. You now you spent 10, 15 minutes going down this path, found out it was wrong. Now you have to go backwards that 10, 15 minutes and then pick another path. Now, when you're fighting against a clock, this is a problem, right? So the players didn't know exactly what to do. They had some ideas, they thought about it, and they decided to do a survival check, and they found out after checking a couple of the ways that they were going to go west. Okay, so they went west, and they went and went and went until they came to another intersection with this symbol again. West, okay, yeah. Perfect. I mean, yeah, these are good. This is perfect, right? Like, you guys are starting to put it together. So they went west. Now they end up on the right side, and now we're saying it's north. Okay, so you guys are starting to see the pattern, right? Am I correct in thinking this? Is it south or north for us? I hope I don't know what you mean by that, but this way is north, up here, north, east. I don't know if you can see the thing on the side here. Lydia, hello. I'm good. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Okay, so you guys are seeing the pattern, right? I'm going to go backwards. Oh, let me make sure I got this right. Yep. So this is where we started. Boom, you guys starting to see that, right? Okay, and now you're saying go north. So you guys said north, and this is also what my player said, right? They said, we want to go north. Okay, so they're starting to figure out something, right? And here's the benefit. I hear them say this. Like, I'm hearing them think out their thoughts. I can tell if they're on the right path or not, you know? And so now they figured out, okay, I've got this figured out. We've figured out that within this context, maybe we're right of these stems have something to do with which direction is which, okay? So now we hit this, which is a little bit different than the pattern, right? It's no longer 4, it's more than that. So we're seeing a Johnny saying west. Right, okay, perfect. So you check west, you guys head over, and you know what? It turns out you were right. West was correct. Okay, so now you see this again, and you've really got to, you're starting to really figure it out. Lydia, day's going really well. I hope your day is going well too. I hope you're excited about D&D puzzles, because that's what we're talking about. So on this one, right? Okay, so here we have, yep, here we go. Yeah, it is. Well, great, happy to hear. South for sure, perfect. Okay, you guys feel confident, you know what you're doing. Boom, we go south, and guess what? You pop out of the north, and now you're here. Now you see this. Now, which way do you go? Okay, this is a little bit of a curveball. You guys have kind of established a little bit of a rule of what's happening. So I want to give you this little bit of a curveball, because I figured the players would figure it out by this point. You know? What do we got? Son of a gun. Yes, right. So again, here's another example of what do we do? Okay. So if we were following the normal pattern, what do we think it is? South again. Okay. Johnny, that's your vote. Any other votes? I mean, I appreciate you guys doing this. Like, this is fun. I get to relive this. Normal pattern would be north. Opposite of north, so south, which is where we came from. East, almighty, normal pattern equals north. Yeah, so normal pattern, if you guys, okay, so I'm going to go back, because it seems like you guys have established, and I want to let everybody on. The normal pattern would be north, right? So going back, let's go to the first, right? You guys correctly determined that 1, 2, 3, north, east, south. So you went south. 1, 2, 3, 4, north, east, south, west. You went west. Okay? North. You went north. 8. Just do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you went west, right? Here, same thing. Now you went 7. North, east, south, west. North, east, south, which is 7. You went south. Perfect. Now you guys are saying normal pattern would be north. So then with the eye closed, a good guess, a lot of you guessing on, is you guys went south. And then you in here, what's the last one? I mean, you guys have really locked in on this. Yep, west, love it. Love to see the west, perfect. And then here you guys would be locked in. You went west, you got it, and then it would be this would be the thing, right? Like you now would have shown up in the hideout, and then we have the whole combat encounter where you guys try to sneak around, save the guy, fight the boss. And I like this puzzle a lot, okay? This one I was really happy with because, one, it's not a dead end. There is a ticking time bomb, and the solution, yeah, now you roll for initiative is completely right. The solution can be found with just survival checks, right? And if you guys are effective, you get there sooner, and then I give you advantages on the fights, right? But when you're right, yeah, exactly. Is this how my players feel? Always. When you're in the know, it's way different than when you're the one just being like, this could be anything. And some of the players that when we first did this, still afterwards were like, I guess I don't see that. One guy was like locked in and knew exactly this is what it is, you know. And so yeah, I think this is good because all it is it impacts the difficulty of what happens next, so they get to feel good without severe consequences. And you just roll dice, and you're like, did we guess right? You still have a chance to guess right. And then you can see, you literally have a way of learning what the answer is. You have now enough information to make the right decision. And that's why I like the puzzle so much. Also, I thought it was really good lore-wise because it literally, someone in the, I got this from a book, and not this puzzle, but this type of encounter where they just had these markings, right? And that was their idea, is just like, you see the markings, and it's like, well, okay. but that's not fun. There's no fun. It makes sense that if this was actually like a spy organization or like a criminal organization, that in the lore they would have secret symbols that only the people down there would know. So if other people are traveling the sewers, they're not just like, oh, all I have to do is follow this very obvious line. You know what I mean? Like it, instead of it just being like, there should be a secret to it. Healthy dopamine. You're doing God's work, Kev. Appreciate it, Yaz. Appreciate you, man. So yeah, this one was good. I like these kinds of puzzles. Taking time bomb, there's a goal. Okay. Now we're going to come to what I think is another way to implement puzzles. Okay. Where it's not a main part of the story. It's called scraps. And one of my players brought this up in a session 0, and I thought this was genius, and I immediately started implementing it. Okay. Scraps is what I turned into a puzzle treasure hunt. And when she talked about it, she said that scraps are basically like this idea that she wanted to find things in the world that were not connected to the main story and just were like fragments of something so you could piece it together. So it made the world feel a little bit broader and not so confined to like R1 narrative. And so it was just like this little, like she wanted to find a scrap of a map. That's how she originally talked about it. And I interpreted that as being like she wanted to find these things that she could discover, and by using time outside of like the main story, she could have those experiences. So this one there's no limitations on it. You find something, and then as long as it takes you to figure it out, that's as long as it takes. So these, I think, can be a little bit more difficult if you want to give your players like something hard. And yeah, they're side missions, and I think it really helps fill out the world. So what happened was the players got a house, and they went through, and they, when clearing it out, found this like hidden, what are they called? Why am I blanking on the word? The thing with a safe. Jeez. Okay. They found a safe, right? And so in the safe, they found it. It'd been like hidden underneath the floorboards. They pull it out. They smash it open. And in the safe, they found this burnt piece of paper, okay? And on it says this. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to read this or not. So let me know if I need to like shrink it down. But I'm going to read it out loud either way. They found this burnt piece of paper. Pieces missing off the bottom. Very well done. I am rather impressed. Solving my last clue was quite the difficult test. Don't think you're finished. You've only just begun. What's more valuable, the treasure or the fun? And then it reads in this little different quotation. All made of stone around the city sat. Don't mind the feather, but be wary of the cat. Look underfoot, the one that still remains. A kick with the heel, inside my gift contained. Yours truly, and then that name is taken off, right? Now, this one was meant to be a little bit more difficult, but context, like we talked about context a little bit earlier, but the context of this is when in session 0, we're running Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and I'm taking just pieces of it. Our campaign looks very different, but I liked the lore of the city, and I gave out that piece of, like, there's a piece of literature in the module that literally talks about like the major parts of the city. And we talked about how in our group, we wanted that to be a part of the thing. So everybody was supposed to at least like glance over it and read some of the things they wanted. Now, if everybody did or not, doesn't matter. But they now know it's something that they're supposed to know and knowledge they're supposed to have, right? So when reading this, it should help with the context of knowing what Waterdeep is like. And Waterdeep has all of these massive statues, right? That are like these giant figures that protected the city that now just sit and are part of the architecture. They sit dormant, right? And it's like a major thing when you start describing the city, okay? So we're going to go through this real quick. Very well done. I'm rather impressed. Solving my last clue was quite the difficult test. This wasn't meant for them. And so they kind of just find this thing and they're like, what the heck is this? Also, when they found it, they found a magic ring that was a ring of magic detection. And they found some gold. So like they're like, ooh, okay, there is a prize connected to this. So then all made of stone around the city sat, which is in context to like these big statues that they know about, right? Don't mind the feather, but be wary of the cat. Okay, this line was meant to say that there's different kinds, right? There's some that are just like a giant man. One is a griffin. One is an Aarakocra, right? And this one was pointing to the fact that there is an Aarakocra statue, right? And that don't mind the feather, but be wary of the cat, right? So there's a griffin and an Aarakocra. And a griffin also is a bird, right? But it has cat elements, where the Aarakocra doesn't have any cats. So this was meant to point you to that thing. Look underfoot, the one that still remains. Then they would know for a fact, because that statue is missing one of the feet. And then a kick with the heel inside my gift contained. Okay? And they go to there, they can use the magic ring to discern where another magic item is, and they can they can hit it, and it will pop open. Okay? And I thought this was going to be difficult, and that was the goal. It was like, this could go, they can see this, they could have got their magic item and money and not think about it again. But nope, they saw it, they figured it out very quickly. And I thought it was just going to sit on the side and like maybe never even be solved. But they stuck with it, and I think it was they had two guesses. They did get it down to the griffin and the Aarakocra, and they went to the Aarakocra first, and they got it. And they got the magic item, and so that led them to their second scrap. Okay, now this one is a dead end with a one goal, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't impact them negatively if they don't get it. It's just something they can wonder about. And it's not something they can't solve, right? This is meant to be like, when we talk about it, it's meant to be difficult. So then when they opened the foot, they got this. And I liked this one a lot. This one I think is a very good use of puzzles, okay? And all it is in that foot, they got a note that says yes or no and a coin. Okay? And in the coin, they just have a coin. They know it's magic. That's it. Yes or no, I don't know. Yeah, third option, I don't know. Okay? And so now they just have this coin. And that's all I gave them. So then they were like, they flipped the coin. They said yes or no. And it flipped. And it just randomly fell on one side or the other, you know? And they're like, what the heck is this? And then they started to think about asking questions to it. So they would flip it and ask a question. Okay? And they would flip and they'd be like, are you a coin? And they would flip it. And they'd catch it and it would land on the head side, right? The smiling face. And they go, okay, that was weird. And they go like, they ask some crazy questions. Like some that like, I was like, I can't believe this is, I think your option for this. They're like, how do I feel right now? And you're like, what? Okay, how do you feel right now? And they flipped it. And what happened is when it landed on its side, not being one or the other. The third option. Good call, Johnny. Right, so it landed on that third side and it stayed there. And so then they were like, what the heck is this? And so they just didn't know. They're like, I don't know what to do with this. And so they just moved on and they did other things. But throughout the session, every once in a while, they'd be like, I take out the coin and I flip it. And they had to ask a question. And they would slowly discern different kinds of facts about it. Okay? But it happened over, I want to say 2 sessions of them just like doing other things and then being like, wait. Okay, where's the coin? And they would ask a question because they had an idea. And I think this is a really good way to implement difficult puzzles because then you just do it when the people who want to do it can do it casually on the side. The people who don't want to do it don't have to think about it and they get to just play the game. And then when it happens, they get to still be in a part of like I see where you're going with that kind of thing, So they kept flipping it. And then I also they did have a third option they had another option to figure it out is they could take it to someone who could discern what kind of coin it is. So then they could decipher a little bit more information. The coin is, I think, also a good way. I stole this from a Matt Colville video where he talks about having like lore catalogs in your game that aren't like libraries that someone has to go to because players don't go there. They don't like doing that. They don't want to go to the library and read. Okay, that's not fun gameplay. You know what I mean? It's just not. So what he tried to do is implement things like the glass hand is like from I think an 80s, and it would give you certain information, but it doesn't have all the information, but it could give you certain information. You could ask it whenever you want, and it was readily available to you. And this is my version of that. a yes or no coin that has lore of the city and also of the scraps treasure hunt that they're on. So it could answer questions to a lot of things, but not to everything, right? So they don't have like this magical power that gives them everything they need. It just has access to like we talked about that one that one pamphlet I gave them that tells them the lore of the city. Well, now they have that version, right? Like now they know, well, are there statues in the city? Yes. Is there Aarakocra statue? Yes. If they need to know where something is, like, is there a blacksmith in this district of the town? Flip the coin, yes or no. They can find this stuff out, and now they have it always available to them. So even if they don't use it to solve the puzzle, they now just have a coin that I think lets them involve themselves in the lore. It's a soul coin with a tour guide from the past version of the city. Yeah, right, basically. And so what they do is they figured out that they needed to go somewhere else. And so they flipped the coin until they figured out that it does say yes or no to certain things and its parameters. And then one of them asked, is the place we're supposed to go north of here? And then it showed up heads or tails. Heads being yes, tails being no. And then with that, they were able to discern a part of the city that it was. And they went and got to a certain alley. And in that alley, they were able to then, like, nothing was there. So they were confused. And so then they flipped the coin and they're like, are we here at the right time? And then they got no. And so then they figured out, like, oh, we're supposed to come back at night. There was clues that this was the right place because there was magical energy. You know, they use this as a way to now they have this coin that, like, they had to just play this big game of yes or no, 20 questions to find out where they're supposed to go. I gave my players a talking book with the soul of an adventurer in it. They can ask it questions, but the answer may be out of date because it was written a while ago. Oh, that's also a great idea. A way to, like, slow their perspective down. Yeah. Because, like, again, same thing. They won't know everything. And I think you can do some really funny stuff. That's a great idea. I really like that. I had a whole another, like, little encounter with a magical flying hand, like a ghost hand that had a mouth on it. This sailor, he had a broken heart with another ghost hand that had left him, and but he also had a box that had this coin emblem on top of it, like a engraved slot that this coin would fit into that would open, like a magic box that way. The book is also slightly annoying. They like to shake it around. Yeah, that's what I would do. Just immediately, like, every time you're mad. That's actually a great idea. Give your players an out to be mad at you as the DM in a different way. Rip Ghost Hand. I hope he got the love of their life. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. That was their job, is they could either try and steal the thing from this ghost hand, which was very difficult, or they could reunite his lover. And that's what they did. And it was like, I mean, whether he deserved it or not, who knows? You know, because he was one of those. Cassandra, and he had two C names. I forget what the other girl's name. And he kept he was drunk, so he's crying out the wrong names. And they're like, I think this is the right one. It was a fun little bit. It was just a goof. And then they were able to get the next box, and the next box had this Waterdeep Public Library, Sage Matrius R. Slove, and it has the expiration date, which is based off the years we're in, is way back. Like, it's a very old card. So this is their next clue. Now, here's the thing. I figure out these clues basically one at a time. I have a kind of a general idea of, like, where I want to end this thing, but I don't know what I'm doing with this yet. Okay. So I would love, I have some concepts, but I would love to hear some of your guys' good puzzle ideas. So one, I can steal whatever is useful for my players. But also, like, I need to figure out what to do with this next. So that's like my quick little fun fact about puzzles. You know, the little tidbit. If you guys have any questions or ideas, let me know. But again, I would love to hear what you guys think. Like, I would love to hear some of your guys' best puzzles and ideas like that. I know I saw in the comments we had on our poll, we had some people talk about, like, little pieces of advice they had, or things that worked for them or things that didn't work for them. Like, let's see. I think a necessary part of making puzzles work is as the DM to accept solutions other than your specific intended solution. Your players are not mind readers. Yes, that is very true, and they are different people. So being open to a valid solution that are not the exact one you created is important. Exactly. I mean, we talked about that. That is huge. Good call, Alex. Here we got Ecos. I wrote a puzzle into my last campaign where a phantom dwarf guarded the entryway to the boss room ahead and would only let the players pass if they answered his history trivia question correctly. The players were in a very small library with shelves lining the walls, and the books were there would contain the answer. If they didn't already remember the lore trivia they had learned earlier in the campaign. All of my players stood in the room looking stupid and trying not to find the right answer in the books, and it was evident they didn't really care for the extremely easy puzzle. So I scrapped it and let them move on without answering. Never again, man. Now, I hear your idea. Okay, so Ecos, I think I get what you're doing, but I think you fell into the pitfall, right? That one, it was a dead end. And here's the thing. I don't know if that puzzle is fun. You know? Like, I don't know if that puzzle, like, what's the outcome of that? It's like, well, okay, I make a roll to search through the books. Do I find it? Yes. Okay, great. This is the answer. Do I not find it? No. Okay, well then roll again to find the book. Like, I guess there's not really a discovery moment for the players. And I've noticed that if you give players something that's like the solution or the way to deal with it is not that fun, they just won't do it because that's not what they're there to lean into. Not saying that's exactly the case with you, but it is something that might have happened. And again, it was a dead end. You were stuck on this, like they could only go this way. So yeah, you're just letting it go. I mean, at least you had the out. I haven't encountered many in campaigns I've played, though. Oh, sorry. You've always been the player, Johnny? Dude, that's the way. Nader, one of my favorite puzzles is from PF2 Beginner Box Adventure. Not enough characters to write it out here, but it's a good one that involved finding one fake coin out of a series of other fake coins, that is. Oh, that's interesting. That's really cool. Okay, I like that. This idea of discerning which one is the right one and which one is the wrong one. Okay, that's cool. Okay. That one possum, let's see what you got to say. I haven't encountered many in campaigns I've played, though the main one I remember was a very negative experience. It was a derivative one of those. One of us tells a lie, one of us tells the truth riddles, and I came up with like 3 different correct answers that were nonsense out of possibility before it was revealed that they weren't given all the information and we were supposed to talk to a sign, like actually withheld the information necessary to solve the riddle. It was a terrible experience. Free RPG day one shot, the whole thing went poorly from the start. DM wasn't great. Very disappointing because it was my first and so far only opportunity to play Pathfinder 2e. Yeah, something like that where, yeah, you're not supposed to torture your players with puzzles. Puzzles are supposed to be, you guys are on the same team so much. This idea of like, I'm not going to tell you, and that's wrong. Again, we talked about this, not having open examples. And then last one, I don't love puzzles because I'm often afraid to get things wrong, and I just really struggle with them if I don't already know the answer. Usually, I also don't play very smart characters since I like to play something different from me, someone more oriented toward action than thinking. So that makes role-playing puzzles even harder. Generally, I just sit back and hope a party member knows what to do unless I have the ability to like detect magic, then I can be helpful, so I don't find them very fun. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. The other thing is puzzles aren't for everybody, right? Like, know your group. I think that's also a major part is know how to play to who's in your party. If players don't like puzzles and they're never going to like puzzles, then don't. You just do something else. But I do think you can role play unintelligent characters solving puzzles. I think that's actually really fun. I actually like that a lot. I think it's a good time to be able to like basically purposely give the wrong answers and like steer the group in the wrong direction. I think that works fine. I always play characters with like 8 int. Yeah, dude, dumb characters are my favorite. My favorite type of puzzles are the ones that involve very simple riddles that clue the players into the answer of a puzzle. So you like riddles? Riddles are tough because again, like I think about the Hobbit, right? And the Hobbit riddles. What are those? Let's say. What am I doing? The Hobbit riddles. Right, like What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up it goes, and yet never grows? I like hearing the answer to this. I don't know if I'd be able to figure it out at a D&D table. So like, is this something like this, Nate or Todd, or do you have a different, is this not exactly? I mean, if it's simple enough or there's clues to kind of point you in the right direction, I definitely like that as well. Voiceless, it cries, wingless flutters, toothless bites, mouthless mutters, it cannot be seen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know these answers at all. But again, major thing, like I would be screwed. If we hit that point, we're toast. Like there's a room that obviously a puzzle room, yep, but there's a riddle on the wall or something that clues the party into the solution of the puzzle. Oh, I see. So it's like a puzzle with a riddle hint. That makes a lot of sense. That seems great. So yeah, I have D&D on Friday. So Joe, Vild, Logan, Claire, Andrew, if you're watching, you should stop watching in case I say something that is going to give away what we're doing next. But yeah, I have D&D on Friday. This is one of the main things I have to figure out is Waterdeep Public Library. I have to figure out, I have an idea of what I want to do, but I have to figure out how to make it engaging and entertaining, and like what reward is going to lead to the next puzzle, because it helps to have like this puzzle figured out and then partially some of the next, because they're going to find the clue to the next puzzle. This one might be a little bit more simplistic, and you know what, based off how we've been playing, there's a very good chance we don't even get to this next session. We have been playing so slow, which actually I have a ton of prep to do, which I don't know if you guys are interested at all at like seeing how I do D&D prep. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have your own methods, or if you guys like streams like that or not, because I would love to do maybe stream tomorrow and just do prep for my campaign. Had 2 statues that would come alive when one player spoke in specific language. Lowest int character's language. Nice. Statue told riddle to character. Character had to relay to the others. Hilarious. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, that's actually such a good idea. Forcing your players to be the conduit to the rest of the group's information, and they try not to let them metagame, is so funny. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I like that a lot. I'd like to see, since I've never done one. Yeah, okay. Then maybe tomorrow we might do another stream if you guys are down. Yeah, I have to figure that out. I mean, so here, I need to figure out what to do for this puzzle, okay? So we have, oh dang, I work tomorrow. A Johnny. It's okay, bud. I appreciate you being in there in spirit. So, okay, I need to think of, okay, cool. Good to hear you guys are down for that. Okay. We need the puzzle. Okay, so we have this, what is it called? Library card, right? So that should lead them to, what did I say? What did I put in this picture? Waterdeep Public Library. Okay, so that should lead them to a public library, but which one? Public library main branch, right? I work in also D&D tomorrow, so it might not be around. Good. I'm glad. I'd rather that you are playing D&D. That is the best way. Yeah, I'm going to try and stream more. I don't know if you guys are down for that, but I'm going to try and stream maybe like 3 to 5 times a week if I start getting into the swing of things. I've enjoyed it the most out of all the content I've been making recently. So yeah, if there's anything you guys want to see stream-wise, please let me know. I have some ideas for like Chess Noob talked about it earlier, asking for like new DM advice. I think that would be good. I'll put out like a poll and have everybody post their favorite new DM advice, and then we can kind of discuss it. And I'll say what I think is really helpful. This is super useful, watching puzzles be made in real time. Oh, great, Sarah. Awesome. I'm glad. Please give me input because a lot of my puzzle making and a lot of my prepping is literally me just like squeezing my eyes or like looking at a wall and being like, this doesn't make any sense. How do I do this? What's interesting? And then making something that's bad and then scrapping it and then making something slightly better. Building mad characters, combat encounters, and I like the video game stream. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing more video game streams just because not every day can I talk about D&D. I mean, I guess I could. I'd definitely like to. But, it's nice to change up the pace every once in a while. So I'll probably go back to doing some games. What games do you guys play? Because I play a lot of Magic. I play some TFT. I play some Baldur's Gate. Like Cyberpunk 2077. I play a lot of stuff. So if there's a game you guys want to see, let me know. Pro tip as well, if you ever get stuck when creating a puzzle riddle or quest line, you can ask ChatGPT to help you come up with some ideas or outcomes. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I used ChatGPT one of the times when I was making a quick one shot. And you know what? It helps to just get random ideas and be like, that's dumb, but I like this version of it. I'm playing For the King 2. It's sort of D&D like. I don't know. I like all of those. Okay, cool. I mean, we'll see. We're going to try some different streams out. Okay, so yeah, we're going to do some streams for new DMs, some new players, because I think there's a lot of advice that new players, like when they get into it, they think they know what they're doing. Or they think let me rephrase. They think the game is one way, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I think that restricts players from playing more. I had a list of different... let me see some ideas and you guys let me know. Our general DM advice is always good. New players. I would love to do a cursed item stream. I think cursed items are so funny. Have you played TCG Card Store Simulator? No, I've heard about it though. Is it good? Is this like, I want to play that really bad. Because everybody loves ripping open packs. I haven't played DM'd in a hot minute. Yeah, I know. That's the problem. Listen, I make content for D&D. Not recently. I've been pretty slow on the draw, but I do. And we go sometimes a month and a half without playing. A lot of new players tend to think that D&D works like Skyrim or is going to be like Critical Role. Yeah. The Mercer effect is huge. Skyrim. Yeah, and I think a lot of people, they don't realize how simple it can be. Like the rules don't matter. You don't have to read the textbook. If you're getting into the game, just start playing. You're going to have a good time. It's going to be fine. So yeah, I think that would be a good time. Let me see. I want to do maybe making a one shot because I have to do, I'm planning on doing a one shot soon. So maybe making a one shot we can go through, collectively coming up with a good idea. Better combat. I think that would be a really good time. Better encounters because, which is basically the same thing, right? Like better combat and better encounters are one and the same, right? Like, I have an encounter that I wrote out and I was going to release as like a one shot that I just haven't edited. So I have to go into it. I play usually every other week. Been doing weekly all this month though. That's great. I love to play that much and lots of hours played. Okay. TCG player. I'm adding it to my, what is it called again? You said TCG Card Store Simulator. TCG Card Store Simulator. Yeah, we're adding that to the list. I'll remember to pull that up. I appreciate the recommendation. The rules are guidelines, and really the cool factor can outweigh the rule if the DM's loud. Always. Yeah. Rule of cool for life. You guys, I think a lot of people know about that. Which is, I'm glad to hear that it keeps on getting repeated because it needs to be. To further explain my idea, I'd like to learn about encounter balance more because it seems really challenging. Okay, yeah, actually, that's a great... Encounter balance is such a good topic because it's one of those things that like a lot of people talk about combat, but they don't talk about this. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that people are fudging die rolls or changing like the max hit points quite a bit. And like adjusting. And I'm curious to see what you guys think about something like that. TCG is all the rage right now, yeah. Especially if you got the Pokemon skin mod. Oh, hilarious. I haven't run into the Mercer effect yet, and I think more DMs are trying to compare themselves rather than the player expecting it. At least that's what I've been seeing. Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, I went to play with someone, and they were DMing they're relatively fresh to it, and they were like anxious and nervous, and that's because there's this idea that they have to be like so good, and it's like, it's gonna be fine, man. We're just all gonna have a good time. You don't have to worry. We're just hanging out. I tried reading the DMG but stopped like halfway through. Excited for the new one though, but yeah, reading the books cover to cover isn't needed. Reading those are so difficult. I just did a podcast with a guy named Anothi Strife. I think that's what his thing is. He had me do an interview with him a while ago, but he wanted to do a podcast on going off book a while ago, and yeah, we talked a lot about that, of like the DMG and the books not mattering. Ooh, only $12. Okay. I mean, Colette, you're selling me. The main thing is that everybody had fun, and players and GMs. Absolutely. As long as everybody's enjoying how you play, that's all that matters. Like example, if you know what class you want to play, most of the player's handbook is irrelevant. Yeah, most of the player's handbook is relevant. And here's the thing. I think people should homebrew a little bit more of their character. I think there should be a shift in how much is like you just following straight from the book. I have a character backstory cheat sheet on my channel. And I think I try to give it to all my players in session 0, and I think it helps out a lot. And one of the things on there is like make a mechanical feature that is unique to your character that has both a benefit and a drawback, so that you get to have something like uniquely yours. Let me see. I used to run a lot of games for new players, mainly for D&D and PD or Pathfinder, and I always told them just not to read the books cover to cover. Otherwise, you'll be too hyper-focused on the rules. Yeah. And then, are you going to include the new rules? Lots of content on them, but I would love a video on how to run a 5e campaign with the new rules. Yeah. Here's the thing. My thoughts on the new rules are that it's not that big of a change. And maybe that's ignorant because I haven't read a lot, but like the rules itself, I have removed myself so much from like playing exactly as the rules is written that I don't follow it to a T, right? So I'll have to look into that a little bit more, because to me, running a 5e campaign plus running a 2024 campaign, to me feel like the exact, should hopefully be the same experience. Someone who knows better will have to tell me. But yeah, I think I'll slowly start incorporating other stuff. But the problem is, for me, is that like monsters, I don't even use the monster manual. I use them for ideas, and then I make my own stats, right? The bash mechanic is kind of cool. I do like the bash mechanic. But to be fair, we've been doing that set in our own way, separate of the bastion. So again, it's just how you implement these rules, right? But yeah, I think, Colette, you're right. I want to look into more of the new campaign or the new rules, because I just haven't because it hasn't really impacted my specific game. You just made an alchemist class for a friend for our next game. That sounds awesome. I worry about not knowing enough when I DM and play. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? Like, we're just chatting at this point. Well, I'll go back to making the puzzle here in a second. I worry about not knowing enough when I play or DM, and that is reasonable. But I think the group you're with, Melissa, either if they know more than you, they should be willing to help you out and connect, right? Connect you with like what you're supposed to know, or like correct if something's wrong. But most of the time, who cares? And if they do, like, you should just be able to do what you want. And I try to tell my players, don't think about things in the constraints of the rules. Just do what you want to do, and we're going to figure out how to make that happen. Because I think that makes it so you can do way more fun things and don't feel constrained, which is the whole beauty and goal of the game. Okay. Yeah. We talked about TCG card player. To be honest, 5e and D&D I think have to be good mixes now. Yeah, we were having some kind of homebrew in both my Pathfinder D&D parties, and it's interesting. Most of them are GM homebrew, then players homebrew, but it's still fun. That's awesome. We talked about bastions. I would treat the new rules like any other piece of content. I pick and choose what I like and add it in. Right, yeah. Take what you like, leave the rest, always, for everything. Right? Maybe I'm reading too much into the new rules. I think you might be. I think like the core rules of everything are pretty much spot on the same. I could be wrong, but like I think what changes drastically is just that what the players can do and what the classes can do is different. And then, yeah, like at that point, who cares? Like if it's exactly right, I guess. Yeah, guys, we need to help make puzzle. Yeah, guys, we're come on. What about the puzzle? I once heard about a DM who has been making an encounter with a dragon where the dragon had no HP, but they won when it stopped being fun. What do you mean? That's what you want to do. It's like working out stress test. You want to basically make them do something so much till it's no longer a good time, and that's when it's over. That's so funny. This is the problem I feel like would happen if you did game prep streams. You get sidetracked by chat and not get too much prep done. Yeah, that's going to be the case. Because here's the thing. Even when I'm prepping by myself, I'm getting sidetracked and not getting as much done as I should. I go into it just being like, we're free balling, man. I don't know. We're gonna just, I mean, we're improvising everything anyways. A thing I like about TTRPGs is no one is going to ban you from the game because you're not following the rules. It's like Uno. The only rules that matter are the rules everyone at the table agrees to. Yeah, dude. Didn't Uno try to like put out a tweet like, I know you guys do this like stacking the +2s, but that's not the rules. And everybody's like, I think we'll take it from here. Uno, we don't need your official rules on this. We know it's fun. Stacking it up. I still play Uno, man. We play it as it's such a good drinking game. Because you don't have to really like, there's no thought. You're just playing. It's something to do with your hands. Everybody is drunk. Sorry, we distract you. No. This is what it's for. This is why I like streaming. I want to talk. You know, like the puzzle's gonna be fine. It'll happen or it won't. Okay. All right. So my idea right now for this library card. Okay. Oh, yeah, all over the place. I would love to know the statistics on how many people who play D&D have ADHD. When you homebrew and it's fun, who cares about official rules? Exactly. Yeah, who cares? And also, most of the time, they're not going to know. Jalen, day's going great. I appreciate you coming in. We're working on some puzzles, okay? And mainly chatting now. Yeah, okay. So, my idea for this puzzle, okay? They find this library card, which is supposed to lead them to a library, and I kind of want to do like a Men in Black kind of thing. Oh yeah, let me say it one more time. If you are in my D&D campaign, I'm talking to you, Joseph, and Alex, and Andrew, and Logan, and Claire. I'm talking about things you're not supposed to hear now. So, you know, skedaddle. Shoo. Out of here. Get out of here. All right. I always had the idea of meeting a peak dragon who loves jokes. In fact, he lives collecting jokes. Oh, a joke collecting dragon is so funny. Instead of like gold, he's just got a bunch of really bad like one-liners. And the low-level party finds it, and the dragon is like, "Tell me a good joke or I'll eat you." Yeah. Oh, that's so good. I'm completely scatterbrained. I'll randomly stop in the middle of something, go write down stuff for the next session or so before going back to what I was doing before all the time. Maybe put in the title, "My players don't come in." Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. Well, they're going to be fine. They're not getting in here. Actually, I hope not. Let me think. All right. I'm putting a text out. That's the real way. Those brass dragons, or was it copper? I don't know. Yeah, let me send this text. No. I don't see anything wrong. Okay. Don't you fucking dare support me as a friend by coming and watching. That's a little harsh, but needed. Sensitive subject matter. Am naked. Am naked. Okay. A good player will not listen to what you say and leave the stream, but the best players will listen and still won't use it against you because it's no fun. That's so funny. Well, puzzles are one of those things that's and hey, you guys can only see the top half. All right. If I remember right, Brass Dragons will sometimes have people listen to their joke stories for a few days before sending them off. Oh, that's so funny. Friends, naked. What kind of stream are you you running? The best kind. Threatening is key here. Yeah. You got to let them know you're serious. Okay. Library card, guys. Library card. A D&D stream. Ooh. Jalen, what do you mean by that? A D&D stream? Threatening is a D&D stream? I mean, a little bit. Okay. Library card. God. All right. Library card. Public library main branch. I think it'd be cool to do like a Men in Black thing, okay, where they end up going to like, you know, like there's like a bunch of lockers with the like keys and locks on them. And so they go to this major library and either it's like one of those study rooms. Oh yeah, this is right. I'm just going to spitball ideas in my next message. Spitball ideas? Okay, yeah, hit me. So I want to do this Men in Black thing where there's like a bunch of lockers or like maybe one of the study rooms because it's like a massive library. Like kind of like Candlekeep library. I like the way they describe that. So I kind of want to take that and put that into Waterdeep. And I want them to kind of like find this and either have to figure out how to get into the locker or go into the room and there's like a puzzle there they have to solve. But the problem is I'm really trying to make it so these are not things that they have to stick around and do. Oh, I like it. Now I can use the dragon stat block of the brass copper. Yeah, that's great. There's a tiny dragon in the locker that makes them tell them a joke. Okay. So they're going to go to the public main branch. They're going to meet Glinda. Glinda's the librarian there. And we're definitely doing the classic, like, you know, old lady. Can't see very well, can't hear very well, but always is like screams when she talks, but goes shh every time they talk to keep them quiet because she just can't tell volumes. Maybe have them look for a specific book. Specific book is always good. There. We're going to say old. Oh, here. We can go back to this. How about that? Tell me if that's good. Or tell me if it's bad. Old. Loud. Can't hear. Very sweet though. My players love sweet characters, or that are ridiculous. Those are the two ways they take it. Cranky. Yeah. How about this? Because cranky, but also sweet. Like she says nice things, but she's just got a short fuse. List of books never returned. List of books returned. Book puzzle out of order. Got to organize books. Find books around city. Books around the library never returned to their spot. Kobold in the library. All right, Ajani, being a gremlin, and you have to find him. These actually, I think there's some stuff to work with here. List of books never returned and a list of books returned is pretty good. List of books never returned really works with the idea that this guy hasn't been around in a long time. I like that a lot. Okay, and then you've got this out of order, got to organize books. I do like this idea of like books returned and not returned and then not seen, but okay, there's something there. With a clue on the locker. Yes. The good witch. Yeah. Can she be knitting a sweater? Yeah, you know what? She can be knitting a sweater. Knitting sweater. Hates reading. Classic librarian. And then they find a Goliath librarian who will give them a hint or something, but only after a oily gotchi. I don't even know what that is. Style almost naked HGF fight. Yeah, I think that's gonna fit within the lore and the realism I've been going for. And she gives it to the characters that reminds her of her grandson. Yeah. Of course. And then we have what hates reading in a library. Yeah. I think that's the kind of librarian we're dealing with. You know, maybe that's too far, but we'll see. If it comes up, it comes up. Maybe they have to find the books scattered around the city and then put them back in order they were taken. Yeah. So how do I make? So the problem is I want to make it like this. What do I do here? So the problem is this clue itself is not that interesting. So it's got to be the first part of a bigger thing. More than one interesting in primary. Or I guess checked out. Yeah, checked out is good. You think she has gum, but she never has gum. Man, that's rough. Actually, but I am gonna do that. Gum mouth. Okay. I'm literally just. Okay, this idea of a book being gone. I think that might be a really good next clue, right? Gachi Muchi. What does that mean? I'm about to. Thank you for educating me. Or maybe I don't want to look this up. Is a name given to a subculture of adult movies? Oh, yeah. Includes muscular males wrestling. Yeah. That's just what my players do anyway. You know? I don't have to prompt them to do that. That's literally how we start our campaigns or our sessions. Okay. I like this idea of a book not returned as the next thing to find, right? Like, not returned, Kevin. Not returned. As the next thing to find, right? And maybe we have something hidden inside of it. Okay. It could be a magic bookstore, and she's a sorcerer who pretends to be a magician to get the job. She really hates reading, but they pay her very well. This is very good. Maybe they go through a haunted mansion to get the lost book. Okay, yeah. I like the ideas we're throwing out here. So I'm gonna put in haunted mansion. Oh, okay. I want to tell you guys a haunted mansion reminds me of a thing that I think would be really good as like the end of this. So, I was reading through some modules, and one of them is called "The Joys of Extra Dimensional Spaces." Okay, and it's like a Mordekainen's mansion spell where like they get to just make this like permanent house. And I think it would be cool for them to find their entryway into the mansion. And then it's like this extra dimensional space that they have that's like basically a huge puzzle house. And they have to go and grab certain things and use it as a way to figure out what's going on, right? Extra dimensional spaces. And we're talking about like... Oh, storybook idea. Ooh, storybook idea is very good because storybook, we can play on old tropes. If they're trying to find a guy, maybe like an old journal related to the individual. Yes, good. Like the Winchester House. I don't know what the Winchester House is. What's the Winchester House, Colette? Like the interest is storybook. Oh, that's good. Storybook idea for entrance, or maybe riddle. I like both of those ideas. Extra dimensional spaces, mansion, puzzle mansion. Okay. So those things I think are a little bit more down the line. Oh, Winchester House is basically a bunch of doors and hallways that go nowhere and lead to nothing. Oh, it's a actual house. One of these, huh? One of these, like a bad painting, a terrible nightmare. Oh God, I hate that. It really gives me a visceral ick. The house is sick from the outside, though. Oh my gosh. What are we doing? I do want that to be my bedroom, though. Oh, that's just pretty. Ooh, I mean the light, so much free sunlight. All right. Winchester House is a good idea. We're gonna add that. Puzzle Mansion. I think the lady thought the house was haunted, so she made everything weird so that the ghosts get lost. That's so funny. That's actually a good idea for using this. It's like, well, you just got to confuse the ghosts. They get confused, you know. Everybody mentioned a Scooby-Doo style, yeah. Rut-row Raggy. The daughter of the guy that invented the Winchester guns went crazy. People think the house is haunted, but I think it was just mental illness, and she kept adding onto the house to prevent the spirits getting her. That makes sense. That'd be a fun dungeon. Yeah, it's like okay, we've had Winchester House as definitely, you know what, bold. We're definitely adding that. Okay. Feel the need to keep adding on the house till she died. Poor woman. What a tough time. If you want a good example, check out the Witcher's 3, A Story of a Thousand Fables quest. Okay, I'm going to check that out for later. Witcher 3. Thousand Fables. Why can't I type? We'll check that out for later. Okay, cool. And then we have... Yeah, I'm probably going to read about that later. For exponential storybook spaces. Yeah. Okay. So those things I think are like where we go next. I don't think we immediately go. I think we use this as a way to go like, there's a book missing that this person was supposed to... but I like the locker idea. And maybe the locker idea is the thing that makes them go like, unreturned book. You know what I mean? Okay. Locker hasn't been opened. Hasn't been opened for years. Glinda barely remembers, and Glinda's been around for a long time. Glinda barely remembers. Hasn't been around for years. Glinda barely remembers. And there's going to be some kind of lock on the locker. Okay, so what kind of lock do we want to do? What would be a good... I think there's a good thing to do with like a numbers thing. Yeah, right. The locker could hold the extra dimensional storybook. I'm thinking we do something like... Okay. So you go to the library. They figure out which branch. They go to Glinda's and they find that this person had a locker here for a very long time. The locker has some kind of numbers combination lock. But how would I give them the clue to figure out the thing? I feel like there's a good thing to do with the numbers because on the card, right? Like I put numbers on here so that there might be something that we could do to like figure out which one's which. May relate to the dates of the unreturned books. Definitely that's something possible. Okay. So right now we're going to do numbers lock as an option. Okay. I got to organize this a little bit. My brain's not working with it. Okay. So we're going to do tab. What's another option? We do locker. Locker with, and this locker could have what? Padlock. We could do the dates the book were published is also good. Riddle cipher. Ooh, riddle cipher maybe. That's good. Could the locker be near Linda and she overhears them? Linda. The library card or the books checked out. Maybe related to the dates. Yeah, these are good. Says X individual never returned the books. Right. So then you could connect it to that. Or the dates of the books were published is good. See, here's the thing. This is my little bit of a hesitation towards something so specific where I don't want to fall into the trap that we go like, this is the one way to figure out the right numbers. But that is definitely kind of what's happening, right? Like we do need some version of that. Okay, so it says X individual never returned the books. or the dates of the book were published, or just trying to find their library card. How many of the numbers for the combo lock? Yeah, see, the combo lock is one. It could really simple and just be the guy's birthday, LMAO. Yeah, yeah. That's true. Fair. All right, so, well, here's the other thing. I don't think it has to be a padlock, right? And padlock could be numbers, like one of those numbers locks, or it could be a letter lock, you know, like making a phrase if we want to do something like that. Well, the players don't have to know which numbers are good. We could just make like 3 collects. Oh, that's true. And whichever one they end up doing. Yeah, that's very valid. Like, it doesn't have to be, you're right. It doesn't have to be, there could be space in this. It doesn't have to just be one thing, right? Like, it could be whatever they end up coming to that solution for. Okay, that's an option. All right, so we have padlock and letter lock as an option. What would be another thing to do for a locker? I feel like magic. So I gave them the magic ring, and I gave them the flip coin. Okay, so I like the idea of using those things and implementing them in the next following puzzles, because they're like started to accumulate some of this stuff as well. Okay. Yeah, that works. I mean, I hear what you guys are saying. Like, if I don't come up with anything, yeah, we do one of these where it's just like, yeah, this is good enough. I do like to a thieves trap. A thieves trap. What do you mean by that, Melissa? A thieves trap, like they have to pick the lock correctly, or they like get booby trapped or something like that. A padlock, letter lock. Okay. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it, Kayleen. Or Kayleen. What's up? Thanks for coming by. I appreciate you. Let's pick the lock. Something happens. Okay, that's good. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well. We're trying to come up with a puzzle for my D&D session. Is that what you mean? If someone tries to pick the lock, something happens? Yeah, I mean, there's something like that. Okay, I'm having a hard time thinking that this is effective without more of a setup clue. Like, I feel like the clue for the padlock would have to be different. I feel like I would have to give them like something like similar like to the riddle that I gave them earlier. Yeah, you can ask me a question. What's up? Maybe some images on the lock. Like, ooh, yeah, okay, yeah. Picture lock. I like that. Oh, yeah, because we could do a picture lock, and it could be something that's like literally you're given the pieces and you have to put it together, like a real world, real physical puzzle for them to do. Because then that's like, I like puzzles that they can actually like hold. Like, I literally have thought about buying those like, you know, those like those cylindrical pods that have the letters on them, and then you can twist them and find, it literally opens up and then there's another clue. Because I like doing like physical, like I made that library card, I printed it out, scrunched it up, gave it to them. I like giving them real things that they can hold. Maybe some images on the lock, like examples for something connected to a person's story, like a bag of coins, a store, or a box lid. Pick a lock is just a simple lick and just pick it, but makes it interesting, but knowing it could go wrong. Yeah, that's good. So a puzzle that acts like a lock. Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So I like this idea of a physical, something that's like a picture, and then they have to figure out the pattern to put over top. That's one option. Now, I do want to go the other option, because I think there's another way to make these padlock and letter locks work if we are doing something else first. Like, they get a hint that's more elaborate, so then they can decipher the numbers. Like, they can put their clues together and then be like, oh, it's the first, the third, and the 10th. And they go through and they find like on his card, the first, the third, and the 10th number, and they use that, right? So yeah, you know, something like that. I'm also a streamer, but for some personal reasons, I left it and started making paid art for streamers. Would you like to see some? Yeah, man, you're welcome to put it in, but yeah, we're not. I'm not looking to buy any art right now, but best of luck. I really hope it goes well for you. You could pull a McNally and have them open the lock with another lock. Yeah. Okay, so here's the other option. A room checked out in his name, like a study room. Okay, this is going a different direction. So these other ideas are good, but I think I just want to explore another idea before we come back to it. Study room. Okay, so study room is room he has checked out. Room he has checked out. Okay. And he, for like forever, for years, checked out for years. Okay, and inside is a book and clues. So, okay, so we could go somewhere like that as well, right? Going a different idea as well. You're going National Treasure here, hell yeah. With an incomplete puzzle that the party must put together, like he left clues in the room. Yeah, I think there's something like he's in here, and so maybe this is how we do the, like, he figures out, oh, this could be him getting into the extra dimensional, the Winchester house, right? This could be their access to it. Do I want to go there yet, though? I like the idea that that's like closer to the end of this puzzle, and we're not super far into this campaign, so I don't want to immediately get in there. But that is the path I'm going, where they could go in here, figure this out. Yeah, because it could just be a point that they have to keep coming back to. Okay, this might be good. Okay, so maybe the study room, right, is okay, the study room is the place where the extra dimensional room is, and they have to figure out how to enter the extra dimensional room. Okay, so they have to use the clues from either the books, or we could do figure out the command word, or we could do another picture puzzle to reorganize or like recreate what he did. Recreate the summoning spell, right? Something like that. Picture puzzle to recreate the summoning spell. Maybe have the puzzle be a house that they need to put back together. Oh, that would be good. Yeah, I like this idea of putting it back together. Kayleen, sorry I didn't see you. I have an Instagram. You can go check it out on my. It's No Dice D&D. Maybe have a puzzle be a house that they need to put back together. The physical lock makes me think it's closer to the mansion. Yeah, like sorry, Melissa, a little confused on that. I got sidetracked on what the physical lock means. Okay, but I like this idea of a picture puzzle or figuring out the command word. So so we could do what are they called? Anagrams? Is that right? Anagram is an option. We have, anagram would be the easiest, right? He's got all of these, like books hidden about the room with certain letters. Okay. There's like, that would be so tough. But I do like this idea. Okay, listen. We take this number, 84769454441. Okay, this is my going way too far idea, but I like it. And they have books, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He has 10 books in there, okay? And you have to get, this would be so hard. 10 books, 10 titles, okay? And when they go in the room, this card like highlights, and you notice the letters kind of like shimmer, or the numbers kind of shimmer. So you get to know that like, here's the numbers, right? These mean something. There's 10 books in there, 10 books with different titles, okay? And each letter, like each book has a letter in the title that makes a whole thing, okay? So you'd have like, War and Peace, right? And then you would pick the 8th letter of War and Peace, and that would be one of the letters, okay? And then you'd have like, the Old Man in the Sea, you pick the 4th letter, and that would be the other letter. And then you have to take that anagram and turn it into the command word. That would be so difficult. But I think it's actually a good idea. I think, because again, I really, and the reason why I think it's okay to be this difficult is my players have been okay with this, and they've also been extremely effective at figuring out the puzzle. And if they don't know what to do here, it's okay. They can come back. And I have, maybe all of the books have a bit of a magical thing to them. So the magical ring kind of makes them feel stuff out. They can use a coin if I need to give them hits. I think there's something there that's actually really good. That's evil but good. Oh, I love that. That's good. Okay, good. I think that to make that less stressful and difficult, you could have it be a series of books. Yeah. Oh, that would be good too. Yeah, we're doing all the Harry Potters. Geez, bro, that's kind of brilliant. I like that a lot. Okay, good. I'm glad everybody's on this team here. Oh, Wanderers Emporium, what's up, man? Good to see you guys. They're great. If you guys need minis, check them out. There could be blueprints for the mansion in the room. Oh, yeah. Okay, blueprint. That's good because it gives them like there's something to do here. And we're gonna put this in. I guess I don't even know where to put this. Study room. Yeah, we're just gonna add it to the blueprint of mansion, and then that can kind of set up the next puzzle, right? Because like this is an ever going thing, and so they need to have some access. Also, when they get in there, we have to figure out a solution like what they get for doing this. We are creating cardboard battle maps that are buildings like multiple floor castles, dungeons, haunted houses. I would love to create a Winchester House battle map for this puzzle. Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah, that'd be so good. Creating a cardboard battle maps that are buildings like they're like they have 3-dimensional space. Is that what you're saying? That'd be awesome. Yeah, seriously, guys. So Wanderers Emporium, I did a video for them a while back. And what they do is they have these 2D cardboard minis, and you can get your whole set, and they like stand on little like platforms. And they're great. They're like super cheap and inexpensive. So if you need like a mini solution, this is a very easy way. If you're not like painting all your minis, you should do this. Unless you made the letters discoverable by detect magic, that would also be good. Then what is in the locker? Well, so here's the thing. If we do this, we won't do the locker. If we'll do this, we're doing this instead of the locker. It would be the study room. I was trying to decide what would be better, them finding a locker or study room. I think a locker could be in the Winchester house. So there's like, again, we can still reuse some of these ideas, but I think the study room sets us up for you got here by figuring out this card. Now you figured out this puzzle, which opens up this thing, and then we have our another thing of like now what's inside. You have to report back if they like this. Oh, I will. Don't worry. Maybe even have them be blueprints for individual rooms, and then they are put together, right? And it would be another way to open the house. Oh, that's interesting too. Okay, I'm gonna do my things. Good luck with the puzzle. Love ya. Appreciate you, Gorgina. Is that how you say your name? Yeah. Thanks for swinging by. Appreciate you. The way you get the visual puzzles. So right now, I think I like the visual puzzles, and I want to save that. I think I'm gonna save the visual puzzles for the next one. Oh, multiple blueprints to build the mansion as a puzzle is a cool idea. I like that as well. So I think I'm going to save blueprints and physical puzzles for not today because I'm playing tomorrow and I still have a lot of other stuff to prep, and making a physical puzzle is going to take more time. But an anagram is way more simplistic. I think I don't have to like actually build anything. I just have to do it, right? So I'm going to save the puzzle idea and whoops. I'm going to save the mansion puzzle idea, the physical puzzle idea, the locker idea for another thing. Or like a picture, but we're gonna do anagram, find out the command word. I think this is the way we go. Okay, so let's start again. See ya, don't need ya. Okay, so we're going to get study room. Things are disheveled. Is disheveled spelled this way? Disheveled. With books strewn about. This is why autocorrect is so helpful for me. Multiple ways. My nickname, not correctly as you said it. Not correctly, but it's kind of hard for English speakers, but it's based on grog. Oh, the pirates drink grogina? Yeah, I don't. Can I call you Grog for short? Is that close? I'm literally so bad at pronunciation. All right. Okay. Things are disheveled with books strewn about. Dust coats everything. Yeah. You. Yeah. Grog works. You. Are you asking what to call me? I mean, you can call me Kevin, man. Or you can call me No Dice. But dust coats everything. Okay. Yeah, you're good. All my friends call me like that. Oh, yeah. I got you. Okay. Okay, Grog it is. Dust coats everything. A magic hue. Mr. Kevin No Dice. Yeah, to you, Johnny, it is. It's Mr. Kevin No Dice. All right, see you, Grog. Take it easy. We'll see you next time. A magic energy pulses. Now, I like to write this stuff out to give myself like something to think about, but I usually don't read this when I play. It's just in my head. I just like to know that I've kind of created the thing. It helps me like create the scene in my head. So when I'm describing it on time, I've already figured out what the room is, and I don't actually read these words usually. Magic energy pulses throughout. Maybe it'd be interesting if there was no dust, like a surprising lack of dust. But nah, I think it's fine. 10 books sit in the room. So we're going to make it simple. All giving off magic energy. Okay. And then we're also going to have maybe like the letters on the library card. Glow blue. Okay, so that way they can know that there's something here and there's something there. Okay. Tin. What do we do here? How do we get them to write it down? You know what I mean? Maybe some random regions that have rotted away. Yeah. Rotting things. How do we? What would be the signifier? What do you guys think for like? Write the letters. Well, maybe literally just a command of speak the word, and it shall open. That seems not great, but we're gonna put a little asterisk here because I think this could be better. You could have them give off a feeling of abjurant magic when expected. Oh yeah, that's good. Abjurant magic when expected by detect magic. Very good. Speak the word and it shall open. And so I think that's enough to make it difficult. So what's the word we want to say? What's a 10-letter phrase or word? I mean, I'm thinking, something like open sesame. I mean, this is the not fun part. This is like when I just sit here and just have to think of like what would be an effective 10-word thing to say, or a 10-letter word or a 10-letter phrase. And I have to then just come up with the ideas. But I think this is the structure for the idea. And then that is going to open the mansion. So let's just go where the follow-up. So we're going to have to, we will have to figure out books and command word. Abracadabra. Yeah, is that right? 1, 2. I think it's technically open says me. Open says me. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's actually okay. So abracadabra is what? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's hilarious. Wait. No, wait. Did I just count that wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it's. Oh yeah. Abracadabra. I see. Abracadabra. That's what I see. That's a cadabra. I just filled in the words. Open says me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's so funny. Open says me is great. That's why I dropped the R. I dropped listen, we can't throw in fake words. There's literally no way that is going to come across to the players that they like. That's just being mean. It's not Open Sesame. I thought that's the joke. But Open Says Me is good. Open Says Me. That's not bad. We're going to put that in as an option. Says me. Open Says Me. Figure out books in command. Open Says Me is 10. Yeah, that's crazy. Fake word is mean. Yes, it is. No, good bit. Figure out books in command. So we're going to have to do that. But Open Says Me does seem decent. No, technically it Open Says Me so weird, lol. Huh. Then why do I wait? What is the thing that's wrong with my brain? Like, what is the cultural thing that has made me hear Open Sesame? Is that me just being dyslexic? I don't know. All right, whatever. We're moving on. Okay, so let's say they do this. It opens a portal in the room that glows. Players go through. Other side is the entryway. Or what's the room called? Like the grand entry hall. Do you guys know what it is? Like well, you know, the giant staircases, and it's like just as you open the main door. Is that not the foyer? Is that the foyer? I don't know anything. What is a foyer? Now I'm gonna think foyer is the outside part, right? Is it just entry hall? Foyer is a large open area or entrance hall that serves as a lobby or... Oh, it's foyer with the R, of course. God, here's the thing. I should never do spelling in front of you guys because, like, I'm literally borderline dyslexic and have never been able to spell. So it is foyer. All right, sweet. I feel a little bit good knowing that. Popeye has a heavy accent, so I haven't heard it wrong. Got it. Foyer, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Entry hall. I mean, that is fair. Listen, I like to add fluff words. Where else am I going to get to do this? I'm also a horrible speller. I just gave up. Good. This dude, autocorrect saves me. No one cares, dude. Hell yeah. Colette, you got my back. I appreciate you. All right, other side is foyer. And then I want the doors. I have the idea of the doors being locked. Like they don't have access to everywhere. Actually, maybe not. Okay, here's my idea, and this is why I'm not going to do it, because immediately it's going to be too much work for me. But I like the idea that the entire house is open and that there's puzzles in each room. Like each room has a major puzzle. So the players can pick and choose which ones they want to do at any time. Now here's the problem. Holy shit, would I have to come up with so much content for them to go through at their leisure. It would be so bad. I would have to think of, like, you know, my 10 puzzles now, and I'd have to have it all figured out and done. So I'm not going to do that, but I might, okay? Because it would be really cool, but I don't want them to get stuck there. I want them to not feel like this is something they have to continue to go through until they're done. I want them to feel like they have to leave. So maybe some of the puzzles literally require them to leave and grab some stuff and then come back. Yeah, I don't spell foyer very often. I've read it quite a bit in books. I feel like that's where I learned it, but it did not stick when it does the wrong words. Correct. Yeah, I used to... What's the word I used to spell wrong? I'm not going to remember. We're going to move on because I can't remember. I always autocorrect the wrong word. Maybe some of the puzzles need some of the unreturned books. Unreturned books. Oh, yeah, we could bring back in the unreturned books. I think... Okay, so to keep it simple on me, because I don't have time to prep all of this because we're playing tomorrow, and I still have a whole another thing. Because here's the thing. They might not do this, so I have to prep a bunch of other stuff first. I think the other side is going to be a single puzzle that they have to solve now. Or they have to go figure out. Have a kobold on the walls. Yeah, okay, that's not bad. This other side is a foyer. Oh, shoot, it's already 5:25. I have a soccer game tonight. I got to get going soon. Okay, I think that's where we're going to stop. because I got to get going. But we have to start coming up with the next kind of puzzle. Hopefully, if we're lucky, this books puzzle will take them a while. They'll do it, they'll stop, and then they'll change something up. You know what I mean? And then they'll have to come back and do the Winchester theme. If you do the Winchester theme, they can only open one door at a time. Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. But then don't you get lost in a Winchester house? Like, can't you just not get out? Maybe we have a Winchester subsection of the house so that, because again, I want them to get maybe, that could be one of the puzzles. I like that. I like that a lot. With a message to make them leave or something. Oh, the guy could appear as well. So even if it's a dead end, it won't matter. They have to come back. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Okay, yeah, that's a lot. I'm gonna think about that because I think all of those are good options. Have the guy appear with a message, having it be the Winchester house. One of the puzzles is a maze. I do like mazes. I don't know how well they play out in actual D&D unless it's like a whole session. Oh, that would be sick. See, okay, you guys want to hear another campaign idea I had was like these adventurers went into like a low-level dungeon to try and like, get their loot, do their classic thing. But when they're in there, it's actually a trap that sends players down. Like they fall, once they get to the end and beat the boss, they literally fall through like a hole in the ground and they get sent down way deep into the earth into this giant like maze. And so many adventurers have been sent down there that there's a whole city underground that's just in this dungeon. So the whole society is based around people who have like given up and just decided to build a society here and live underneath underground where there's like this like, they've created a magic form of light and they're growing crops and it's like massive. But the maze part is they have to figure out the maze. So the adventurers, their goal is to be a part of the city, but if they ever want to leave, they have to go and slowly start figuring out the maze and then coming back to home base and like working and going through the maze. I think that would be so much fun. It's very limiting, so I don't know if people would be down. But I think a concept there that would be so much fun. So even if it's a dead end, it won't matter. One of the puzzles maze, like ghostly dead message. Yeah, that's good. I'm giving a DM ideas. Hee hee. Yeah, you are. I mean, you're doing great, man. I've done a maze. Mazes are great, but they need prep time. Okay, that's very good to know. I think a maze would be good. One of the rooms is definitely going to be a maze then. So same time next week, Lol. This was a fun roundtable. Yeah, this was great. I appreciate you guys sticking around and hanging out. Yeah. No, I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna stream tomorrow because I still have to prep. So if you guys want to see prep for tomorrow, it gives me a reason to sit down and be focused, if you have time, cool. Does this time work for you guys? Does like this 3 p.m. EST work? Is this a good time for you? Is there a time that is better? I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to start streaming more. My goal is that we're going to stream tomorrow, and then I don't think I'll do anything over the weekend, but maybe we'll play a video game over the weekend or something. And then following week, I freelance, so I work at different times. Either work or get off at 1 p.m. or I get off at 7:30. I got you, Johnny. But yeah, so I'm going to try and stream 3 to 5 times a week. So I'm at work, but I can make this work. Oh, sweet. Glad to see you're working hard. I mean, that's the best kind of gig. School teacher, so not normally, lol. Oh, are you Melissa? Are you EST as well? Yeah, it works for me. I've got my D&D games on the weekend, so I won't be joining those. Yeah, that's very, very reasonable. But yeah, I'm gonna try to start streaming more often. So if you guys want to swing by, I'd really appreciate it. I'm the boss, so it's fine. Oh, there you go. That's the real way to do it. Set your own hours. Oh yeah, CST. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Central time off today. Got it. Well, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to try and do it so I can stream like 3, and I think I'll probably more often when I'm not playing soccer, which, Johnny, I think you asked me what position I play. Man, I play indoor, and I'm not very good. I'm really a basketball player. My friends play soccer, so they get me to play. So, yeah, I'm usually doing that. Let me do that. But yeah, yeah, okay, Central Time. So yeah, I'm gonna try ADD. Let me get back on track. I'm going to try and stream 3 to like 6 or 7 most days. When I don't have something to do, that's what we're going to do. Otherwise, if there's another time, I guess we'll bounce around. And yeah, we're going to do a lot of D&D streams, a lot of advice streams. Like I think a cursed item stream. I remember we were talking about that. I think that'd be sick. Doing a cursed item streams, how to get better at RP. Maybe we'll do like a Baldur's Gate stream and we'll go through and play that. And TCG, what was something simulator? I have it written down. TCG Card Store Simulator. Maybe we play some of that. Play some Magic. Play some TFT. We're gonna play some video games too if you guys are down for that at all. So yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out. I gotta get going. I've got a Skeleton Wizard and a Half Elf Ranger. Nice. So either the goalie or the midfield. I'm playing midfield, man. I'm fast, but my foot skills are terrible. All right. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys, and we'll do this all again soon. If not tomorrow, next week. Bye.